Did Town Talk with Raven about 2 weeks ago. Had the opportunity to go visit the high school again and sit down with Chris Hobbs and, I just wanted Jacob Dunn, sorry. And we walked through several of the CTE programs, and talked about their plans, how they're wanting to expand some things. One thing that I was not aware in our conversations, I don't know if you knew this, but they have several pieces of equipment through the CTE and through that needs insurance excellence that they're not able to use because they do not have enough space possible. So they were looking at building out another wing, or, they're trying to figure out where they're gonna put it. And so we're looking at discussing if there's other opportunities for maybe another property or something to help them, get all of that under one roof so they have ability to grow, because they have a lot of amazing things, as we know, with the Census Excellence going on right now. So we wanna try to work with them, see if we can help them on that front. Was invited to Upper Cumberland CTE regional meeting. I know there were several of the staff from, TCAT and Montlow there. We just gotta look at what they've been doing as far as Upper Cumberland CTE as a whole, and where they think some changes possibly need to be in the future. Sat through several of the tourism steering committee meetings. They're going through a whole new strategic plan as well. Those were things that I actually got to sit on while I was sick, so that's something I could do. And then we've had several BCD and Upper Cumberland updates. As far as events that's been going on, of course, we had Halloween on Main Street. It just came in. I did not put pictures of that in yet, but it was fun. Had a lot of kids come by. We had Tennessee Economic Development Council fall session in Knoxville a few weeks ago, and wanted to make sure we were present for that. So Coffee County landed Green project, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. It was one of the largest projects that had been landed in the state, and so being that it was a guide project, it was in Coffee County, and we actually wrote a letter of support for that project. So we were, they presented the whole project and how they worked as far as ECD agriculture, they were going to be used. So we all got to talk about that. So that was a great session. And then we had GovCon last week before last, and they came out with, of course, 2 new things. The ECD is going through all new branding, so they've had Master in Tennessee for several years now. It's now going to be something on you. Yeah. Engage with I can't remember what it is. Anyway, but they enrolled that project. Tennessee Works, which is a collaborative effort between Tennessee Board of Regents, Tennessee Education, Workforce and Labor, ECD. Anybody who touches workforce and labor in the state are now involved. So if a company comes in, they're not having to make contact with 4 different groups. They can go to this hub and it'll put them where they need to be. So we're very proud of Mr. Thomas and the leadership she's had with all of our higher education and getting that pushed forward, because it'll be really good for our communities. Another thing that was told to everyone is that Lightcast, which is a survey census data gathering group that we can actually get data off of, it's usually free, has published the Lightcast report. And so it's basically a workforce report that's looking at basically workforce drought over the next several years. It is a 69-page report. I have it printed. I can print it for you if you'd like it, but I will be emailing you all the link in case you want to look at it. And it talks about boomer generation all the way down and what we're expected to see like over, I think it's the next 10 years. So I'm going to get that link, and then we're going to send it to all of our people on our industry list, just so they get a view of what's happening with the free report. So we've had a lot of good stuff. As far as administration, still working on the blue building TIF with Security Federal and Bradley Law, and getting that put together. We've had several R5s and project communication going on. Started jingle and mingle planning. Crystal is the lead with Ms. Jackie at the chamber on that. That will be December 4th. So we'll once again be doing the open house like we do for everybody in the building. We'll be doing the 100-year business celebration. As of right now, Highs is the only one we know turned 100 this year. we're checking all of our lists to see, so if y'all know of any other business or industry or anyone that's turned 100 this year, please place those women on the list. And then we're doing meet and greet for Jennifer Woods, which is the new chamber president, so she will be here, we want everybody to come meet her as well. And then we've been doing, past couple days, a lot of property updates for the TDA website, because they renew every so many months, and so a bunch of ours are kind of coming due now. I do have a meeting scheduled with Matt at MTIDA to go to Nashville and sit down and go through every one of our properties again and make sure we have everything correct as far as, do we have photos, do we have drone? There's a couple projects that got added last that are private that we don't have some of that yet for, and so we just want to get a list of everything we need. We picked up a new recruitment project this month. We have an additional expansion project this month. And as far as RFIs, they worked great to us this month. We had 6 RFIs come in. Only 2 we were eligible for. The other 4 were looking for 150,000 square foot buildings or larger. What got us was they didn't want close to the rail. They couldn't have vibration, and or it could be a co-tenant lease space. So those were the 2 reasons we got kicked out of several of those. As far as grants, I'm gonna have a meeting coming up with Nolan City to talk about the ARC Master Planning Grant. We have interest in possibly applying for this for the Depot Bottom area and doing a complete master planning grant, looking at from the park side all the way around where the walking area goes now, and then down to Smooth Rapids, and basically connecting that whole entire property as far as retail, commercial, anything else we can look at. Of course, it's currently done with industrial. But we're gonna see about applying for that. It could be an upwards of a $300,000 grant from ARC. We're just trying to determine what the max would be and if the city wants to lead or what. And then we're also trying to work with them on consideration for phase 3, to see if it also goes to that. So there could be the opportunity, like we've done on other grants, where the city or county apply and we also apply, we can get multiple from different public organizations. I had mentioned we were approved on the Bragg grant. So we were approved for the Depot Bottom property to do phase 1 and phase 2 testing. We were only granted up to a certain amount, I believe it's $100,000. So I've got to talk to property owners. I'd like to start at minimal manufacturing and go down that direction, because the last time any phase 1, phase 2 was done was like 2013. So that all needs to be updated. It's a 100% grant from TDEC to get it paid for. But if it does come to where there's any remediation needed, that would be up to the property owner. But we can still get phase 1, phase 2 paid for. But we know 100,000 is not going to cover almost 100 acres. So we're going to start on one end where we think we would need it the most and go down. The city of McMinnville was approved on the Morrison Street properties, and so we've got to get back with Reese and their families and see if they still want to participate. We talked to them all that, and so since we just got the approvals and it took a little longer than we anticipated, we want to make sure they're still interested. And then the Upper Cumberland did get approved for the Upper Cumberland grant. So we get $20,000 each community to have someone come in and basically try to locate any potential brownfields, so we have a list of them. So as these grants continue, we'll know in order where we need to look at next and getting done, whether it's old gas stations or anything, or manufacturing locations that needs to have brownfield done. And TDEC is very supportive of this. The governor's office has been very supportive of this, because instead of breaking new ground out somewhere, let's redevelop the properties that we have that just need to be worked. As far as upcoming events, I've got workforce development workshop in Mount Juliet the next 2 days. We have TCAT advisory committee with Dr. Evans on Thursday. I have an airport update meeting next week. They have been granted funds somewhat through their layout plan that we worked with them on to expand the commercial property for them to basically for TDOT and FAA to have approved them to expand commercial. And there's a grant for them actually to start some of that work. And so Jim has asked for me to meet with them and kind of see which direction, or talk about which direction we want to go. We'll be closed for Thanksgiving on Thursday and Friday. Crystal will be out of town all week, all next week. And then like I said, open house is December 4th. One other little thing I wanted to touch on. So last month we had talked about the calls we had got regarding data center. It is not a data center, it is a crypto mine. They, of course, have interest in coming. It is not a brick and mortar building. It is, they bring in, containers and put them. So I did send them the protected covenants anyway, just so they know like anything with the events, but I told them that was a discussion for the board, because that is not something we discussed. It's just somebody coming in wanting to put storage containers within a property on the park. I will say, you said.
Where's it at in that curve right there? Is that what it was?
Yeah, so they're looking at, they would like an acre right here at the back, right here. So our intentional plan or hope was that they would get the corner up off Progress, because then they would need to pull power all the way to it. So that would help us out, but yeah, they were interested in this spot right here. And of course, we don't have this road yet, this is TDA, just, plopped in what they thought we should do there. So that's where they have interest in. Did you sit in on the Google panel? So at GovCon, there was a good panel on data centers, nuclear energy, how things are trending, and there was a big discussion on data center versus crypto mine and the value that they bring to your community. So normally if you have somewhere like a Google that's wanting to bring a data center in, they're gonna pull in all the infrastructure to the community. They're gonna pay for it themselves, and then the excess is going to the community for free. That's what they wanna do as a community partner, is bring that. With data, with Bitcoin, crypto mining, that is not usually how it works. They come in,